ProTools is gonna open up looking like this with the click track, which you can also change in the setup preference. If you press play, normally you should hit the metronome. Make sure you check if the metronome button is on. So right now it's off, that's why we don't hear it. Now it's gonna turn it on. You can hear the metronome. What you're seeing right here is the edit window. On the left we have our track list where every track is gonna be listed. As you can see, the click track, it's on here. There's a lot of way you can manipulate your tracks over here through the tracks list. This drop down button over here have a lot of options like show or hide tracks, make track inactive. You can even hide track from here just by pressing this button over here. Now when it's not on, the track is hide. When it's on, the track is show. Underneath of the track list, it's our group list. For now, we don't have any group. There's no really much we can talk about that, but this is where the group track is going to be. There's also this drop down menu over here to also manipulate our groups, new groups, display a lot of cool stuff you can do with your group. On the right side of the edit window over here, this is our widgets list. When I say widgets, just keep in mind I'm referring to clips. This is gonna be the clips list. For now, we don't have anything, that's why you don't see anything over here. And we also have this drop down button over here to also manipulate our widget list. There's a lot of cool stuff we can do here. We can batch rename, we can clear, like delete, we can show, we can sort them by it. A lot of cool stuff you can do right here from the widget list. This button over here hide your widget list, which you will probably have to do when you're editing in ProTools, just so you can have more space in the edit window. Or you can simply click here and drag it all the way. You can also do the same thing with the track list too. Click that button over here and it hide the track list and the group list, and when you click over here, now it show it. You can also do the same thing by clicking and drag it over here. If you notice, we also have this button that's spread up. When you click it, you can have your MIDI editor show up in the bottom from here. For now, the MIDI editor is not active, reason why, because we don't have any MIDI track or instrument track. And we also have clip effect down here, we have Melodyne, and we also have the RX spectral editor. For clip effects, if you click on it, you can still have access to some effects that you can manipulate your widgets with while you're working in ProTools. If you wanna drag it down, you can do that, or you can also just click the button over here. So overall, this is the edit window. Our two-main window in ProTools is edit, what we're seeing right here, and a mix window. You're gonna switch on those two windows a lot when you're working in ProTools. The easiest way to do that is Command Echo. On the top from further left, we have our mode editing tools. We have grid, spot, shuffle, slip, which I'm gonna explain a lot much better to you in our editing tutorials. The grid is simply, as you can see, when I click on grid, when you're making a selections, you're on grid, but when you're on slip, you see spot, shuffles, and better way to show them to you in our editing pattern. On the right side of it, this is our zoom controls. This over here controls the zoom for our widgets, and this over here controls the zoom for our MIDI note. Underneath of it, where you see those numbers, are zoom preset that you can save and you can call them later on. Let's say right now you're seeing this right here, and if I click on 1, it's gonna zoom out. Now you see it from bar 1 until 20. We can save up to 5 preset. On the other side over here, this is our editing tools. This is our grabber, this is our selector, this is our trim tool over here. This is the type to transient. This over here is like our timeline with our edit selection. This over here like edit selection with our track selection. And this over here I'm gonna explain on our editing process. And this over here is single zoom mode. And what does it do? Like, let's say you have the grabber tool on and you just wanna zoom in real quick to go doing something. Active the single zoom mode, click where you wanna click, and right after that it's bring back on the grabber tools. Over here is our zoom toggle tools. It's basically gonna zoom it up to fill the window. And one cool editing tools we have in ProTools, Smart Tool. Smart Tool is a combination of those tools over here, and we activate it by clicking on this little space right here. Now when you see this blowed out, I mean they're all active, and quit the Smart Tools. Over here we also have grabber tools. You can just hit through the selections when you have it on. This over here is our pencil tools. I personally must use it on automation, or if I'm tempo map manually, which I barely do, but I have tons of great way we can use it. Now this is our main counter. Those are bars for selection. Let's say for example I have this selected, give you the length over here to bars, and it tell you where my selection start and where my selection ends. And this over here is our main scale. As for now, I have bars and beats as our main scales. My sub counter as a minute per second over here. Those are my bars and beats over here. You see the number 3, 4, 5, 6 over here. As you can see, you don't see my subs counter, the minute per second one, because I don't have it show. And to do that, click on this dog over there, click minute per second. Now you're gonna see here I have minute per second over here right under my bars and beats. There's a lot of other things you can also show or hide from over here too. As you can see, I have my tempo over here, I have my key, my chords, my markers. All of this I can hide them just by clicking on them. I like having them on, especially the markers. We can have up to 5 markers showing over here. Tempo information is over here 120, and we have the meter is 4x4. I'm probably not gonna really show the meter. And we have the key. I like showing my key, so every time I look up here I already know this project is on this key and stuff like that. Now we have nudge over here, really important, especially when editing. And we also have our grid up here too, that showing us what we seeing over here. If you don't see those lines, this button over here showing hide our grid. Over here is our transport control, pretty much control play and stuff and recording stuff, moves and forwards and stuff. Also give us option to set pre-rolls or post-rolls. While here is our MIDI controls, the metronome, and this over here is wait for note. This over here is MIDI merge. Like let's say for example you already record a certain note and there's a few notes you'd like to hide on the same track, you can just click on that, it's gonna merge all of them together. And this over here is our conductor, it's locked in our tempo. Up here is our tempo by default on 120. This count off button over here, when it's turned on, when you hit play in Pro Tools, it's gonna count off for as many of bars that you set over here. And there's also a lot of options that you can do with the count off. This is where you set the amount of bars you want to turn it on, then you have your count off. So if you don't need it, you turn it off. Here is our synchronization. Over here, this is our quantize control. Cool stuff, and put quantize in. If you want to change something, click over here. You can also manipulate how you want your quantize and stuff like that. Now all of this stuff, they normally automatically show up in Pro Tools on the top over here, but if for any reason you happen to don't see them, click that drop down button over here. Now everything you see selected over here are the thing that you're seeing right here. Let's say for example the zoom control, if you don't want to see it, you can just turn it off. There's also a short version of transport. To extend it, you come over here, click extended transport over here. Now the universe is gonna show you what you got going on. Again, for the track list, region list, come up here, you can also click them to show them. Now this A to Z button on the region list, edit window, and on the group, those gotta be on to making a shortcut. Now let's go up here to set up our MIDI, our output, and to also show you how you can change the preference of not having a click track when you open Pro Tools. If you'd like to, you just go over here, click setup, and go down here in preferences, go to MIDI. Now where it say over here automatically quick click track in your sessions, turn it off. I like having it on, so I keep it on. Now set up our MIDI, go up here, click setup, then click MIDI. Now click MIDI input devices, and every MIDI that you have connected in your system is gonna show up over here. And check it out, click OK, and then how to set up your output, you go to setup again, click output. The main output in our system is gonna be the output with this speaker icon. You can also rename it, double click on it, then choose a name. I call my main mix. You can click on it and delete, and you can also create a new one. You can set it to default. You can even set a new subpath below it. For the input, it's pretty much the same thing. You can create a new one. You can also rename. Now we just set up our MIDI. There's also one way you can see if it's working, and this is by creating a new track. Go up here, you click track, then you click new. The new track pop-up window is gonna look like this. Over here you have options to create as many tracks you want. Here I can change my track from mono to stereo, and this over here where it's a audio track, I can also change to a auxiliary input track or an instrument track or a MIDI track. You also have options for routing folder, basic folder, and master for the track, which is really important. As soon as you start your project, create a master track, and this is simple or thick, which we're gonna explain on tempo map. And then over here you also have options to rename your track. For now, let's have a mono instrument track, and then I'm just gonna name it MIDI check. This plus button over here is also give you options to add any more as you want, and you also have options to change the parameters. You also have this on the side where you can rearrange your track. Let's say you want the master for the track all the way in the bottom, you can just bring it here. Now the master is in the bottom, and we have the minus button over here where you can remove a whole track. So now we're gonna go ahead and remove all of this. Let's just keep our instrument track, just we can check our MIDI. Now click it, our track is gonna show up like that. Import an instrument over here. It doesn't matter if you have instrument in the track, and when you press in your MIDI and you're not hearing any sounds, nothing wrong with your MIDI, but it's just that in ProTools, for you to hear it, you have to have the record button enabled. Now when you press it, you can hear sounds. Okay, now my MIDI is working.